Hello and welcome back. It is Kyle and today is Thursday, May 9th, 2024, and it is story time. So, I alluded to it in the video from yesterday, which I apologize. Apparently there was some sort of issue and it did not get uploaded or finish uploading until this morning. Not sure why that was. It wasn't even that long of a video. But yep, so I alluded to it in the little about section, whatever that's called. But we had an adventure yesterday. I am going to put in self-driving and take a longer way home than normal so I can talk. The day before yesterday, so today is Thursday. On Tuesday, I went out to the kitchen and did a little bit of dishes to clean up my mess. And in the process of doing that, I noticed that the mat on the floor in front of the sink was wet. So I thought the last person that did dishes splashed enough water to soak that mat. So I made a joke about it, and we went out to look to see, because they were like, oh no, I didn't even splash any water. So we went out to look, and we have a little bucket that we keep underneath the sink that has a whole bunch of our extra cups and everything. And that was completely filled with water and starting to overflow. So if you bumped it at all, water would splash out. And after every so many drips from the sink leaking, it would splash out. Why are you not going? There we go. Car's in self-driving mode, by the way. But yeah, so we're like, well, that's no good. So we attempted a quick tightening to see if we could get the leak to stop. We couldn't, so we enlisted the help of one of my brothers who lives in Fort Wayne, but he couldn't come until the next day, yesterday. So I get off work at 2:30. He doesn't get off work until 5 o'clock, and he's all the way in Fort Wayne, which is about a half an hour drive, give or take. So I was out in the kitchen. I got myself a cup of water, and I saw the pliers that we were using to tighten down a little bit yesterday sitting there, and I'm like, oh, I'll give it a try, see if I can tighten it up enough to get the water to stop leaking. This is why I do not do any sort of work like that, because that turned out to be the biggest mistake of my entire life. Car, why aren't you going? Go! You can go, car. Okay, thank you. Turned out to be the single biggest mistake of the day. When I tightened it the first time, the leak got better. So I'm like, oh, this is working. So I will tighten it a little bit more. And when I tightened it more, it did not get better. It got worse. And by worse, I mean the whole thing broke and water sprayed out at high pressure. And so going into this, let me preface this by saying I am not a plumber by any stretch of the imagination. I am not a home repairs person whatsoever. I am hey, there are people who have gone through lots and lots of training to get good at doing this particular skill, and we pay people to do that, so I'm going to pay somebody to come out and do the thing that they are really good at doing that I know absolutely nothing about. We should have just done that. We could not find a water shutoff valve underneath the sink. Could not find one. Still can't find one. So I'm assuming there's not one there. So we had not shut off the water at that time, hence the water spraying out. and I was the only one in the house at the time. Now, if you remember, I said I just went out to the kitchen to grab a drink, which means I did not have my phone on me either. Luckily, I had my Apple Watch. But the water started spraying. I put my thumb over the broken pipe to stop the spray, and for the most part, that worked. The water stopped spraying. But obviously, I could not hold my thumb there forever. So I got the bright idea to take a measuring cup that happened to be in the sink that was metal and put that over top of it to make it easier to stop the flow. That did not work because, of course, that didn't work. A hard surface onto another hard surface does not make a good seal. You need something to cover the entire hole. Learn from my mistakes. Don't attempt that. So I went back to covering it with my thumb. Unbeknownst to me at this time, this water line that broke was the hot water line. And so the entire time, anytime water leaves the pipe, hotter water replaces that water, and the water keeps getting hotter and hotter and hotter as we go. So needless to say, it was getting super, super hot on my thumb as I'm trying to hold pressure on. And now my thumb is getting more and more wet and sliding off of the pipe more frequently as well, because that's a bunch of pressure on there also. And I'm crouched down trying to keep this pressure on there. Now, time has a way of feeling like it goes quicker and slower in certain circumstances. So this whole ordeal took a matter of 16 minutes from the time I broke the line until the time we got somebody there to help. But in my current state, it felt like an eternity, of course. So luckily I had my Apple Watch on. I used the voice command to call my mother and ask her if there's anybody close by that she knew that could come over and help, and that they need to get here soon, and I explained the situation to her. And I was calm during it. I knew that there was an issue that needed resolved. It needed to be taken care of quickly, but no need to panic. Well, that was in the beginning. That was within about a minute or two of the pipe breaking. Then, as things progress, I call back to get an update, or she calls me to give me an update that she got a hold of somebody. They got about a 10-minute ETA over to the house to help out. Yay. Things keep getting worse because every time I move at all, water slips out, and now the water's getting hotter, which makes it harder to hold on to, and it just keeps getting worse. So finally I get to pretty much my breaking point where I'm like, I cannot do this anymore, and it's just making a mess everywhere. So I attempt to call back again, and by now there's a ton of noise from the water going everywhere, and it's noisy. And I try to do the voice command again to call her, but it's not going through because there's so much of the other noise in the area, and my hand's too wet to touch the button, and you gotta kind of maneuver to get it. So I'm a big guy. I'm down on my hands and knees and trying to stay on a slippery floor and not fall over and everything. So trying to touch the watch in the first place to press to initiate a call, that wasn't working. The watch face was wet because of all the spraying water anyways, so it wasn't reading my finger presses where I pressed anyways because of that. The voice commands weren't working. So finally I was able to press and hold the button to bring up the voice assistant and call again that way. But by this time, she couldn't really hear me because of, again, all the background noise going on. And yeah, well, about that time anyways, the dogs start going crazy which leads me to believe that the guy who's coming to help pulls up outside. So I'm like, woohoo! And then I hang up. Well, our door automatically locks itself after 2 minutes. And so it was locked. So he could not get into the house. So he is outside trying to get in. He calls my mom up. At the same time, it dawns on me that, hey, he probably can't get in. So I call her to tell him that, hey, give him the door code. That way he can get in when he gets here. And so she's getting calls from both of us at the same time. She answers him first, then answers me. And about that time, I just say, screw it. I can't do it anymore. So I get up and run out to let him in. And he comes in. I tell him that, hey, it's the hot water that's leaking. So he hurries up and goes out and turns off the hot water from the hot water heater and saves the day. And again, this whole ordeal from start to finish took about 16 minutes, which in hindsight is not very long at all. But for me, it was absolutely miserable. But we have a camera in our kitchen. The camera is in our kitchen because we have 3 dogs that like to get into the garbage, or used to like to get into the garbage. So the camera is in the kitchen to catch the dogs when they get into the garbage, so we can, call out whatever dog and show them, yes, we have shown them footage of themselves getting into the garbage. I know it's stupid, but everybody does it. So the camera caught the entire ordeal. So I will be uploading that video today as well, so you can see that video. Now it is slightly edited. I blurred out stuff, and then I also, well, that's about all I did. I just blurred out stuff. And because of how I had to get the video, you'll see it kind of rotate once or twice. So I apologize for that. But go watch the video. Honestly, when you watch the video, it's probably going to be a pretty boring video. So feel free to skip around wherever you want. And because it's water and water is clear, lots of times you can't really see the flooding on the floor and stuff like that. Every once in a while, you'll see some steam from the hot water, or you'll see some spray from the hose when I let go and it's at a bad angle and it's like spraying me in the face or something like that. One thing that being fat helped with is, because I'm fat, getting down on my knees is not the most pleasant experience. So before I went to tighten it, I grabbed a seat cushion to put on the floor to use kind of like a knee pad. And that knee pad, that floor cushion, I ended up using as kind of like a roof. So I was able to, when I went to let him in, I had enough forethought. You'll be able to see it. I start grabbing stuff to help empty the water into the sink because the water was coming out so fast, all that good stuff. So thank you. But with that, I had enough forethought to put a pan on the floor, and then that seat cushion over top of that leaking pipe, so it would kind of force the water to go into the bucket for as long as the bucket could handle the water. So at least it stopped some of the water from making a mess, and it wasn't just like spraying out everywhere. It was spraying down, and then because it's spraying down, it was just going onto the floor instead of spraying the cabinets and everything, while I was away from it. I thought that was pretty clever. You can actually see that little concoction working there. So that was pretty cool. But yeah, so needless to say, because of that, we were unable to eat at home last night. We still do not have any hot water. We are waiting to see when they can come back to install a new faucet for our sink, because the part of the line that broke was actually part of the connection that goes to the sink itself, the faucet itself. So the whole faucet needed replaced, which sucks because that was a good faucet, worked nicely. And one of my brothers bought it for a Christmas gift, and it's an excellent faucet, just it broke. So they're going to replace the faucet. We don't know when they're going to do that yet, and we currently have no hot water because the hot water is currently turned off. But weirdly enough, if we run cold water in the bathtub or in the shower, cold water makes that pipe leak water again, but there's no hot water that comes out anywhere. But if you go to the bathroom sink and run the water, you only get cold water, and that does not make the water come out in the kitchen. Running the water dispenser on the refrigerator doesn't make the water come out. Running the washing machine doesn't make the water come out. It's only the bathtub, when you run the water in the bathtub, that makes the water come out. So it's weird. I don't understand how those are connected. Again, not a plumber. But yeah, so that's my story. We ate out last night. Wasn't planning on it. We were planning on having BLTs. But after that, I was like, screw it. We can't eat at home anyways because the kitchen was a complete disaster. I did put towels down and soak up all the water and everything. So at least that's better. But we ended up going to B-Dubs. I got the 20 boneless wings with Parmesan garlic, 5 Parmesan garlic, 5 mild, and 10 of the sweet barbecue. I think this the lowest heat one. It's either sweet barbecue or honey barbecue, whichever one is the least hot. Because I'm a wimp when it comes to spicy stuff. I did not eat all 20 wings, but I did get the 20 piece. That way I had leftovers. I had 2 glasses of Mountain Dew, and then we also got a large order of onion rings that we split between 2 people, and we had onion rings left over. And I got the order of the Hatch queso that we also split between 2 people, and had that left over for that as well. All in all, I probably only ate 6 wings out of the 20, and that might actually be on the high end because honestly, I was not really in the mood to eat after all of that crap. I just needed to get out of the house, if you can understand. But yeah, so I know I did not stick to the diet goal yesterday. I kind of threw that out up until that happened. Everything was right on par, and I was doing absolutely fantastic. But that kind of ruined the rest of that day. I could not tell you how bad I did, though. There's still a possibility that I did not exceed my caloric intake that day because, well, you saw, I said in the video how few calories I had leading up to that. I don't remember off the top of my head, but I had basically like 2,500 calories left for dinner. But I just don't know how many calories are in that stuff. It says on the menu that the 20 count of the boneless wings, if I ate all of those and it was the most calorie dense sauce, it still wouldn't be the 2,500 calories. And I didn't eat anywhere near all of them. And I got 3 different sauces, and I don't know which sauce is worth what. But then I also ate some of the queso, and some of the onion rings. I think I had 4 onion rings total, and I tend to go for the smaller ones because they let them all cook at the same time. So the smaller ones tend to be cooked like a little bit more than the bigger ones, which when you bite into them, then you get a clean break versus the ones that aren't cooked long enough. You bite into it and the onion like comes out all at once, and then you're just left with the shell. But so I had 4 onion rings, I think maybe a 5th onion ring. But again, we had onion rings left over, and we split it between 2 people, and it was just a large, so I don't know exactly. I wasn't paying attention to counting. And then the chips and queso, I probably ate 2/3 of the queso with the chips, and then 2 glasses of Mountain Dew. So however many calories that is, it's probably over the 2,500, but hopefully it's not like 4,000. I couldn't tell you, but judge me if you must. Tonight, I have no idea what the game plan is, because as of this moment, we still don't know when they're going to come to fix the sink. We did buy a new sink. Once that's done and everything is cleaned up and back to normal operating procedures, I will show you that, because I'm kind of excited. So still have no working sink. We have no hot water. Really shouldn't be running any water, because we can't run any water in the sink. We could only run water in the bathroom sink. So not sure exactly what we're going to do for supper. We do have leftovers that we can reheat. We talked about possibly ordering pizza, but honestly, I'm not really feeling pizza. I think we might go to Texas Roadhouse or something, but I'm not going to check back in tonight, because there's no need to. I can fill you in tomorrow on what ended up happening today, and we'll be good to go. So thanks for watching. Again, I will upload that other video, the camera recording, as well. Hopefully I can get them both uploaded to YouTube today. If not, just look for it. It'll be uploaded by this weekend, by the end of this weekend for sure. I still haven't got used to the uploading stuff on YouTube. I don't understand it. Sometimes everything goes smoothly, sometimes it doesn't. Sometimes it makes videos private all on its own when they should all be public, and I don't change any settings whatsoever. Sometimes my videos go as shorts automatically. So I think that's when it's like a minute or less, it automatically goes to a short. I don't know. There's a lot of stuff I need to learn still. But on the plus side, I am getting better at talking to a camera, whether I'm facing it or not. When I say better, I mean more comfortable talking to a camera. Whether you think I'm better at it or not, that is to be seen. But, yep. Thank you, and I'll talk to you tomorrow. Take care. Bye-bye.